60% of newly promoted managers fail or quit within their first 2 years of stepping into that role. Is it because they suddenly stopped caring, lack talent, or because management is just an impossible skill that so few can master? Not quite. You see, I've been across dozens of different high-ticket sales teams over the last 7 years, and when there's a lack of structured communication, visibility, or blurred accountability, things fall apart very fast for your team and become an even bigger headache for yourself as the manager. And in this video, I'm gonna show you a simple and repeatable system for managing remote sales teams, even if you've never held the management title before. And let me tell you, it is not as difficult as you might think. So if you've spent years closing deals, living inside of the sales process, you already understand most of what it takes to succeed at selling high ticket. All you need to learn is how to take those skills and turn them into a repeatable playbook that others can run. Let's jump right into it. The first principle for being an effective manager: without clear communication, teams spiral into chaos. Let me explain what I mean by this. A lot of times when I step into high ticket sales teams, depending on the quality of operations or execution, more often than not, I find that every rep operates a little bit differently. And the expectation that is most important that you have is the one that you set on them yourself. And the reason for this is because leadership requires somebody to be in the lead. And when you leave reps to their own devices without a sense of structure, without a clear communication on what you're expecting from them, what they should be doing on a day-to-day basis, they will lead themselves. And only a small majority of the time have I found that reps that lead themselves actually take themselves to the greatness that you might like them to have. And it's not because they're incapable of doing it, it's because sales is a hard profession. You have to think about it. Statistically speaking, you are spending most of your time interacting with people who don't want to buy from you, who aren't fully interested in what you have to offer, and depending on your account are completely outright rude. And it is very hard to stay in a very sane and focused place. Hell, I've even experienced this in my business. I've had different offerings that I've tried over the last year. Some of them, when calls come onto the calendar, people are happy and excited to speak with me. Others, they're completely rude, have no interest, and I'm just a salesperson in their eyes. And it is when I'm in those situations and circumstances that I have to look to my team or come back to my goals or constantly have to recheck and reframe myself to stay sane. And so that's where having an expectation from somebody else I need to produce and provide for is sometimes more motivating than the expectation I would have on myself to reach and accomplish my own goals. Because my own goals are to make a lot of money and have a lot of fun while doing it. And if I'm not having fun, well, heck, I want to go do something else. But I know that there is some pain in the suffering and pain in the struggle. And that's where having the right expectation to your team that, hey, you're doing this for a collective, for a reason, and a vision that's beyond just yourself helps. Okay, the second part of being an effective manager is going to be visibility. And what I mean by visibility is being able to see a person's performance in real time. More often than not, a lot of reps don't fully know how to track their data, and when you leave them to track their data, they don't do it properly. You have to remember, there's a reason why you're the manager and they're the rep, and they didn't beat you for that position. It's because you have a different set of skills and experience that govern you to be a leader and a fiduciary responsibility for production that other people, you can't quite depend on them to have. The part of upholding your responsibility is actually knowing if you're making money and knowing that someone's doing their job the right way. And this comes from having proper tracking and infrastructure to be able to see everyone's performance in real time. Now, there's a lot of different people who have theories on these. Some people love to build complex Airtable, data, AI-driven solutions. I myself love Google Sheets, and I don't believe that you have to move to anything super complex until you're doing around $250,000 to $300,000 a month in cash. When you're around that revenue threshold is when you should consider upgrading to something more robust, but when you're below it, you can manage everything just well on a smaller level. Now, when it comes to tracking sheets for sales reps, it's important that each rep has their own sheet. There is one big player in the industry right now that insists on having everyone come back to one sheet and fill out a sub tab in it. I think it's a pretty terrible system, and I followed what one of my first mentors showed me, which was have something to hold yourself accountable. But the beauty of having the right kind of visibility is that not only can you see proper production, but your reps can actually feel good about their work, know if they're on or off the mark. You see, when reps get disempowered, they often forget to fill out their sheets. Heck, it's not disempowered. Most reps just don't fill out their sheets because they don't love the accountability that's seeing their actual performance in real time. But it's looking at your numbers, no matter how bad they might be, that actually inspires you to strive for greatness. For myself, it's not until I realize how much or how little I'm making that I know if I'm where or I'm behind where I would like to be personally. So have clean tracking sheets at all levels. Each rep should have their own sheet. At the highest level, pay for an Airtable. At the smallest level, just manage it rep to rep. Okay, and the third part of being a great manager is simple systems. All too often, I found myself stepping into environments where their actual systems for selling were not only inefficient, but just too complex. Maybe someone who's very much an engineer designed and architected the space that we were all working in and didn't have much contextual understanding of what it is that we need, and that only. They built a bunch of features and other things that they found are cool, as is common with engineers. But when you become a manager, especially if you're working accounts at a larger scale, it's important that you constantly try to remove complexity from your systems and add in simplicity. If there's things that you're asking reps to do, remove it. If there's things that can automate it, such as putting in an auto dialer, or having automated SMS reminders, or automatically checking everybody's numbers for spam every single month, or the way that your form is set up to get people into the CRM. Remove questions. Some portion of your job beyond just management is also CRO, which is conversion rate optimization. And that means lowering the lead costs, increasing the call quality, better managing the calendars, and everything that serves the efficiency of everybody on your team. And that is actually one of the highest leverage things that you can do as a manager, is clean up the actual system and environment that people are working within. If you've sold a product before you've stepped in to manage it, and let me put in a little personal note, you don't have to sell a product before you can manage it. I've done it many times myself. But jumping back into it, you should know and be able to intuitively think, okay, if I was a salesperson, what would I like to see? What would I need? And it's important that you implement those things for the next person that you hire. Great salespeople often think the way that you do, and one of the biggest things that you can do to attract and retain great salespeople is build it the way that they would like to have it. The same way that for Formula One race cars, the engineers follow what the driver likes, is how you should view your sales team. You should follow what the team likes and build and serve them and give them more of that. See, the more that you serve the team, the more that they will close for you, the more loyal they will be, and the more money that everybody will make. And when everything's done properly, your job as a manager can actually be collapsed down to probably just an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, believe it or not. And there's an opportunity in actually stacking management positions depending on how skilled of an executor you are. And that's part of what I like to call fractional sales consulting. It is one of the best opportunities that I've found myself as a high ticket closer, and that you could experience as someone who's working in high ticket sales, to be able to expand your income, doing what you do best, helping businesses sell more products. And if you look back at my last video here, where I talk about the shifts that are happening in info, you'll be able to learn why now more than ever, leveling up your skills and taking the place of an executor implementer is one of the safest things you can do to future-proof your career. All right, that's all I have for this video. If you guys found it helpful, well, drop a like on it so the algorithm sends it to more people, and hit that subscribe button for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.